Sassy Sassenach. Hello everybody, it is Making a Mini episode 10, the big 1-0 double digits, and to celebrate this episode, and also because that's where we've got to, this is going to be the first episode with some hot action-packed real-life footage. As a Sasquatch who cannot be recorded on camera, I abducted a hiker who I found dressed like an absolute garbage man, wearing a nerd-themed Christmas jumper 2 weeks into January, pair of Crocs, and an absolutely destroyed pair of jogging bottoms, held up by a very depressed drawstring. This was filmed on phone. I should not have filmed it in vertical mode, so you're all going to have to suffer. But you only have to bear with it as long as we are in the real world. We'll be turning to the comforting bosom of the virtual realm soon enough. Enjoy or endure.
Looks like it came out pretty well, but it'll come out of the resin all goopy, and with these supports still attached. So we need to wash it off. I recently bought this wash and cure machine after about 2 years just washing with a cheese tub, and this is a lot better. I shouldn't have spent 2 years waiting for that. It makes it much easier to clean these things, so that's what we're going to do. So something that was important in the cheese tub days, and it's still important now, is to do a pre-wash. This is a bunch of dirty ethanol, slightly cheaper than isopropyl, but that's what I've been using before. And I'll do a wash in this dirty ethanol to get off sort of 90% of the goop. And then I will put this in the clean solution. So just put this in. Put the top on. And I'll set this for about 4 minutes or so. Then we'll come back and do that again. Now this is done. Be able to get a better look at it. After that first dirty wash. Looks pretty decent to me. I'm looking out at the bottom for any bits where it's failed to print. Don't see any obvious failures, so that's good. But I might once I've cleaned this up properly. So I'm going to give it a hot water bath with some washing up liquid or dish soap or whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to take these supports off. Then I'm going to give it a second bath, a second wash in the cleaner alcohol. The supports came off pretty well, and as far as I can tell, there are no errors. The flame pattern on the lance, the hair, the daffodils, all of these are areas that could fail and seem not to have. One thing I will do before I put it in this cleaner solution is go in with some tweezers and pick out any of these little supports, like you can see underneath this wing on his helmet there, that's still there. These can trap resin in crevices, and so it won't get fully clean unless you remove them first. Just a little tip from me to you. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll put it in the cleaning solution. Seems like the car came out pretty good as well. Don't see any failures. Looks like the wheel holes came out nice and even as well. So we're all good so far. Alright, so we've mostly cleaned these up. You can see the wheels, there's now a full way through them. So no resin's going to get caught in there. There's probably one or two little supports still left, but we'll clean those up once these are washed and dry. Because my favourite scrapey, pokey support moving tool had all the glue in it melt and then it came apart, I used this birthday candle. So, you know, real professional techniques here. Now we're just going to pop everything into the cleaner solution and give it a wash. Then once it's fully dry, we'll be able to have a good look at it and double check that everything printed okay. Putting it in for another 4 minutes. I'd do this maybe a little bit longer, but this is just a prototype model. For all we know, this isn't the right size. There is some debate online about whether you can overwash and whether that makes things brittle. So I sort of keep it to this. That seems to clean it up. And then everything generally gets primed anyway, so there's no issue with skin contact at that point. All right, let's wash this and come back. So give it another rinse in water and soap after that wash finished, and I've got it drying on this piece of cardboard from the recycling, which is good because we have so much cardboard left over from Christmas, and the council just will not take it away. So we'll wait for that to dry. I'll probably put it on the radiator, and when we come back, I'll have a look at it and cure it. And I'll also, while I wait for that, I will cure the waste supports so that I can safely throw them away without them being toxic. So it's a little while later, and these are looking pretty good. Now that they're nicely dried, you can see the details have popped quite a lot. The details on the armour that I was a bit worried about when I was looking at them in 3D border look pretty good. You can see there's a bit of roughness, and this is the support scarring on the back here. This is why I position the models the way I do, with the details facing away from the build plate, so like this. The lance is printed out nicely, it's nice and straight, looks to me. But these scars, even with the light support, are pretty much inevitable, and so possibly with manual supporting I could improve this a little bit because I'd need less supports, perhaps. But there'd still be a lot here. The camera also picks them up a lot more than the human eye does. You're not going to be able to really look that closely at them, certainly not with my eyes at least. If they're on a surface that is going to be seen, I would need to sand these off once they're cured. Luckily, this will just be glued to the chair, and there aren't any support scars on the half that will be seen. One place where there are some is on the back here, just below the license plate. That's a bit of an issue, so that might be something that I can improve, or I may just have to get a little file or something and sand those down. You can see there's still some little bits where the supports have been that I'll need to clean up a little bit. I go through a quality control step with all these models before I prime them. There's also a little bit of wet here in the caltrops in the bag. I'm not sure if that's trapped water. It might still be trapped wet resin though, so I'm going to try and wash that out. It could be a sign of a hollow, which is what I would be a bit worried about, so I'm going to go double check that as well. If you have a hollow piece in your model that connects to the surface like this, raw resin will just continuously kind of come out of it, so you need to make sure that's not the case. I don't see any signs of it in the mouth, but that is maybe something I will improve on, is this quite tightly closed mouth just seems like a recipe for stuck resin, which I may be able to solve just by washing longer. Like I say, I don't actually see any wet resin in there, I'm just aware there's a possibility. Whereas I am going to have a look at this bag and see if there's a resin trap there perhaps. Now that I have the models in my hand is also when I start to notice some other things, like I didn't smooth this joint where the arm of the mudguard meets the hand of the mudguard. There's still this line. Maybe doesn't bother you, but it bothers me a little bit. So I'll go in and smooth that. I think also the spoiler, details on the spoiler could be picked out a little bit to make this pop even more. I think the wings are mostly fine. These little wingtips here, I would like them to be a little bit more detailed and pointy, and the face I would like, particularly the eyes, to just the brows to pop out a little bit more. So that's also something that I will do. Possible as well the exhausts could come back a little bit more. Like I say, similar to the scale thing, you don't really know until you've got the model in your hands exactly how it looks in real life. So now is the moment of truth. Does it fit together? Particularly, do them wheels go? So let's try that out. I was thinking I was very lucky that these wheels could go on either side, but actually they can't because this scale pattern is directional, so I want that facing forward. Do we get the nice clip? Oh, unfortunately we don't get the fun clickiness. That maybe needs to be a little bit smaller. It'll still work perfectly fine. It's just nice to have that snap, you know? Make sure this is the right size as well. They may be a little stiff because the inside might need sanding down. Oh, that one pops nicely. There we go. A little pop. That's what we want. So they turn when I push them. Whoops. Turn a bit too much there. These will all need gluing. But they turn. Do they turn by themselves? Sort of. Not as well as I would like. Now, will he fit in? Because this is something I did not really... will they fit in? Because this is not something that I really thought about. Also, one of these feet
is not as detailed as the other. Dun dun dun. But that foot will never be seen. So, okay, let's see. The moment of truth. Oh, well, that was very easy, actually. Yes, Riley fits in perfectly. Nice. Hell yeah. Oh, and it looks real good. This looks fun as hell to paint, actually. Oh, and the wheel fell off. But, you know, like I say, needs gluing. Could do with being a little bit easier to roll these wheels. They roll perfectly fine when there's some pressure, but I'm not sure they will roll on this, for example. Not very well, no. That means probably either these... is this an axle? I think this might be an axle. Whatever this is, that might need to be thinner. You can kind of see the reason I use light supports for these is you get a little bit of scarring, and I don't want that. Also, this sort of scraping, I don't want that because I don't want resin dust coming out of the models if they're for kids. It won't be toxic, but you know, it's basically microplastics or whatever. You don't want that. Probably about the same as any child's toy made out of plastic they would play with, but what I plan to do is make these a little thinner so that when I prime them, that little extra, you know, micron of paint isn't making them even stiffer, and that will help. With a decent primer, that will hold up to the turning and won't release that dust. But cool. I mean, it worked. It all printed in one, and everything fits. So that's a miracle all on its own. And it'll only need a few tweaks, I think. Famous last words. One thing I do need to do as well, before I forget, is check the scale. So I'm going to go nip and get a model to check scale with. Then I might as well cure Riley. Maybe I'll do that while I get the model as well, so that I don't have to worry about touching it. We may as well have a look at the curing machine in that case. This orange case is a UV shield. At the moment it's positioned somewhere where I can't take it off, so bear with me. It has this turntable. This is also quite a big upgrade. I used to wash the miniatures in a feta cheese tub. I think you can use a pickle tub or whatever. It had a strainer. And I used to cure these in a cardboard box for the foil, a nail polish UV light, and a little turntable. This thing is almost 100 quid, so it's not cheap, but has it already saved me £100 worth of labour easily. So turn this on, give it about 5 minutes. That'll make it safe to touch. There's a lot of different advice around resin printing, with half the people telling you every step of it will kill you, and half the people saying, I'm going to just drink shots of resin. And likewise, the washing time, the curing time, that's all very up in the air as well. From what I gather, the surface that you're touching cures extremely quickly when exposed to UV. So if you're just trying to make a small thing touch safe, you don't actually need to do it for very long. You can also leave it in the sun, but I live in Glasgow. You know, this is our sun. With this particular resin I'm using, the whole idea is that it's flexible and plastic-like. It's the ABS-like resin, which is really nice. Unfortunately, all my old models that I made for myself and painted at length are made out of the old type that will just shatter immediately if you drop it. That was the big drawback. This stuff is much more like plastic. It's really strong. But the properties change depending on how long you cure it. So that is a concern as well. I have heard, like I say, variable things on this as well. Some people say, you know, really do not cure it very much. Some people say make sure that you cure it a lot. So I've found that 5 minutes works fairly well. So that's what I'm going to try for this. Like I say, that'll make it safe to touch. It's just about how flexible it makes it. If you're a chemical scientist and I'm wrong, please tell me in the chat. The machine is freaking out because it thinks it's not closed. It's a safety feature, even though it is closed. The UV light is probably, especially to
me is probably much more dangerous than the resin. It will just sunburn you. So now that I've moved the cable out of the way, this should work. Yeah, there we go. And I'll leave you to watch that while I go find a model.
Did you forget that you've had breakfast already? Oh, yes, you have. Oh, who's had breakfast? It's you.
Chicken coop?
There you go.
Okay, so here is Leaf, the elf. This is the first Whizz Kidz figure I sculpted, rolling around on their wheels. They also have the smallest chair, just this little upright chair. A pretty nice figure though, and one of my favourite ones to paint. Very satisfying to paint. Now, Riley is quite a bit bigger. It is pretty big by comparison. But what I want to do is check the figures themselves rather than the chairs. Because obviously a drag racer is going to be bigger than a little wheelchair. Although, can I take Leaf out of the chair? That would have been good to check. Yes. So how do the figures compare? To my eyes, they are actually pretty similar size. Faces are very similar size. Riley's looking a little bit... Riley looks a little bit buffer, a little bit bigger, but not, importantly, not a completely different scale, which is what you want to avoid when you're 3D printing, is suddenly realizing that the thing you've made is completely the wrong scale. Looking closely, Riley's tongue has failed, so I'll need to add some extra supports to that, probably. It's still there, but it's very thin, hasn't fully printed. So that's another thing to make a note of, but the scale is correct, which is excellent. Sorry, it's not very dignified for them if they're just sort of on their backs with their seat hole exposed. This is going to be fun to paint. A couple of tweaks to do, but very good for a first go. There is one thing to check, if the whole thing won't fall to pieces doing it. This is my little testing ramp to see whether the wheels work. This could obviously be a complete disaster and destroy the model, but that's the kind of exciting content you've come to expect from me. Put this little cardboard crash pad here. Now let's see. The moment of truth. It's not off to a great start. Hey! Let's do that again. Unfortunately, on reviewing the slow motion action replay, Riley's front wheels are not rolling when they go down that ramp. So that means according to the test ramp, those wheels do need fixing. But I kind of knew that already. I'll be making a slimmer axle for both the wheels and trying again. I'm making a couple of modifications to the body of the car. The only modification Riley's body needs is their tongue. Needs an extra support, I think. So I'll basically be printing everything again. I could keep the wheels the way they are and make these, increase the size of the holes a little bit. That might be the best thing to do if I'm already going to be changing this car body. But I'm keen to get that done because I want to start painting this. This looks like fun. This looks like a great thing to paint. So I'll also probably do a video about colour schemes because that is something that is quite interesting as well. I'm thinking maybe gold and green or red and gold or black and something or other. We'll see.
Why do you look like you're the saddest dog ever? You just had a chicken coop.
Oh, don't want affection, only want chicken coop.
After making those adjustments, here is the inaugural rolling of the Riley, presented for your pleasure in slow motion. The front wheel, it is rolling. It is rolling, everyone. Just to confirm again, the front wheel is rolling. Bravo. And here he is. He looks pretty sweet as far as I'm concerned. I'm looking forward to painting him. This zoomed in, you can see a couple of the supports. He also has the right wing on his helmet has a slight fail at the very bottom that you probably wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't pointed it out, but I have now, and now you've noticed. That didn't fail in the previous version, and I didn't change the support on it, so that's just one of those things. I will add some extra support there, just in case. There is also a slight fail, I think it's called a delamination, when it makes those sort of flat single layers hang on to the bottom of things, where the single layer of resin has pulled away in a way that we do not want. And there is another one of those on the flame, on the dragons, coming out of the dragon's mouth, and the dragon has a wonky tooth at the front. So all in all, just some strange new issues. And that suggests to me the printer was probably doing something wonky considering I didn't actually change anything else. That is the issue with 3D printing, is it isn't magic. You do have to deal with the physical forces of nature. Those tyrannical rules that hold us all in prison here in Samsara. But it's looking pretty sweet. I'm probably just going to paint it like this because I don't care. And I'm going to paint it for me. And maybe someone else who wants it. I don't know. If you want it, does it bother you that there's these tiny little errors? Probably not. But some of you out there, I'm sure it drives you absolutely insane. In which case, don't buy it. You know, let the kids shuffle along on the ground because they don't have a wheelchair. I hope you feel happy. Thanks everyone. Don't want to record a message, only want chicken cube. Like and subscribe, I don't care. Don't care about Belle, only Belle I care about is Baby Belle cheese. Don't make fun of me, I'm older than you, 42 in dog years. I could keel over and die any minute now. Is that what you want? Click link in description or bio. So hungry. Fading away. Father, fading away. 45 minutes until dinner time, Father.